You are listening to The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel. America's #1 sportsbook has made it easier than ever to get in on the action during an NBA playoff game, even after tip-off. Just look for the live SGP tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and build your bet slip. Then sit back, relax, and track the outcome of your parlay right in the app. And if you don't already have it, download the FanDuel app today to make every moment more. The Ringer is committed to responsible gambling. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available, and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. You must be 21 and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Welcome to The Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me as he does every week from TheRinger.com is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
Verno, everything changed tonight. Everything changed. This has been a seismic shift in the National Basketball Association, the events of the last 6 hours.
We are recording at the very tail end of Minnesota Golden State. It's still going on right now. Score may end up looking better at the end than what the competition level that we watched.
Did not look good.
Well, look, here's what we know. It was 68-68 in the third quarter.
Great game.
And then it was 85-68. A 17-point run. Anthony Edwards is screaming at everyone in attendance. The Warriors, their bench, and all fans included. He was at absolute peak of powers, pulling up for threes in transition. And the last one before they took a timeout, it felt like, okay, that just ripped their heart out. Like they cannot score, and now this guy's just pulling up from three. I think they made like 11 threes in the third quarter. They were shooting absolute fireballs. Him and Randall as a tandem were unbelievable. And then the rest was history. I mean, like once it was 68-68, a 17-0 run in that third quarter by Minnesota put that game away.
Well, Game 3 was close, and I thought a lot of that had to do with Kuminga and Butler, sort of like showing up and making up for the lack of Steph Curry. And Kuminga started well today, but Butler just kind of didn't have it. And he's sort of the elder statesman. He's the emotional leader. He's the guy who everyone's looking at like, we don't have Steph, but we got you. And he just didn't have it tonight for whatever reason.
Well, and what was super odd about that is Tim Legler saying on the broadcast, this is the tail end of the first half. He's like, Jimmy Butler's been on the bench for the last like 4.5 minutes because Steve Kerr wants to have him, for the fourth quarter. Well rested for the fourth quarter.
Well, it don't matter if you're down 25.
No. But you're watching the game, and the Warriors completely flipped the game with Jimmy Butler on the bench.
Yeah,
Until Ant hit that crazy three going into halftime, the Warriors had totally flipped the game in the last 5 minutes of the first half.
As we're speaking right now, I think Jimmy Butler has 10 shot attempts.
It's crazy.
10 times he attempted a shot. Like I think he should probably have 10 in the first quarter.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just a weird game, weird series with the Wolves are going to walk away with. And what happened to your whole veterans and veteran teams win?
Oh yeah, real young team, that Minnesota team. They are loaded with young guys. What are you talking about? Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, and Julius Randle. You got a whole team of 10-year vets. What are you talking about?
Julius Randle looks like he never got a haircut ever.
They literally, they got one guy under the age of 25 on their team.
Julius Randle looks so good. He looks unstoppable. He's hitting threes tonight. If you get him in the mid post on the left block, it's over. It is over. He's turning over his right shoulder. He's scoring on you.
Don't conflate me saying you shouldn't overlook the Warriors with because the Timberwolves, they don't apply as the young team.
I'm just having fun. We'll talk about the Thunder and the Nuggets later, all right? That's when we can really get into that.
They are so they're going to end up winning this game. Minnesota is, and take a very commanding lead. And in that third quarter, it certainly seemed as if Anthony Edwards was going to take matters into his own hands and was applying this pressure, because by virtue of them having everybody mic'd up in the last game, for those that did not see, he walks up to Gary Payton II and he says, "You guys just trying to get one game so you can get Wardell back." and Gary Payton is like, "Yeah, that's the plan."
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? He's like, "Yeah, that's the plan." He's like, "I'm on to you." Like, so look, Anthony Edwards trying to finish this thing before they have a chance to get Steph Curry back in the mix. There were these, I guess, positive reports yesterday about Steph Curry going through this 90-minute workout, though he didn't go, he didn't put full pressure on it, and leaving his game 5 status in doubt. It's like, all right, like, I don't know.
It doesn't matter now. I think Anthony Edwards looks like a star. He looked like a star tonight. That was a star performance in a big game that just kind of just put him to bed. It was night. It was him doing the night to the Warriors and the Warriors fans tonight.
And here was the big problem. We talked about Jimmy Butler earlier. Jimmy Butler, you could argue, was the best player on the floor for the majority of Game 3.
Game 3.
Right? Okay. The best player and the second best player were both wearing Timberwolves uniforms, as was probably the third best player in this game, right? Like, I mean, it was an onslaught. And certainly between that tandem of Edwards and Randall, they were spectacular.
But I will say, before we move on, let's not over celebrate the Wolves, because they were vulnerable in Game 3. We haven't spoken since Game 3. They were very vulnerable in Game 3. That's a win for them, and no one's going to remember it. But that game was way too close for comfort if you're a Wolves fan. And tonight was too. There's no Jimmy Butler. There's no Steph Curry, and it takes an Anthony Edwards 3 at the half to make it a game. Like this is not a dominant Wolves performance, even though they're up 3-1 in the series.
And I got to tell you, I don't know if you felt the same way watching 3, but I absolutely thought it was a one-possession game when Draymond Green went out. And if they would have had Draymond for the last 5 minutes of that game, I think it might have been a different story. But again, he found out.
I think you have a personal history with Draymond Green, and you do not like him, and you're happy to point that out.
No. He got those 2. I thought those fouls were bad calls.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I thought they were bad calls. Like, he gets a lot of rope, and we have talked about the rope he got.
Everybody talks about that. Whatever.
I actually thought, the last 3 of his fouls were actually rather debatable, right?
Whenever it's the non-contest hand,
the
non-contest hand, on the body, is just, that to me is not a foul. You can look at it again and call it a foul, but if the one hand is in the air and the other hand is just sort of on the body of the offender, no problem.
Well, Minnesota obviously has to take care of business, which they will be expected to do, especially as they go back home. If so, we are going to have this discussion. It's an amazing deal that, especially this year with their seeding, it's an amazing deal that this would be 2 consecutive Western Conference Finals that they have been to, and this one this is not the Towns version. This is the version after they've made that trade in the offseason with the Knicks. And I think it speaks to where Edwards is in the NBA landscape, but also where this franchise and team is. I mean, if you look, 2 straight conference finals is nothing to sneeze at. And what's crazy is if you would have told me that we'd be talking about the Wolves and the Pacers being two teams that had consecutive conference finals appearances, and both of them are on the fast track to that being the case. It's crazy.
And I also think that when you look at the other side of the bracket in the Western Conference, and we're going to talk about this at length, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jokic aren't exactly putting up superstar performances.
No.
Anthony Edwards is.
That's right.
He is. Both Shai and Jokic, and there's a lot of reasons for that, and we will get to that. But it's been pretty impressive what Anthony Edwards has been able to do especially against this zone. They're oh, we're gonna run this wrinkle. We're gonna have a zone. And the Wolves are just getting dunk after dunk after layup after layup. It's gross.
This game just ended on 7 Unbelievable. I mean, there's going to be people that wake up tomorrow morning and see like, wow, that was a close one. Like
the Warriors got it to 7. Oh, please.
Yeah, they just lost 117 to 110.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and so what's crazy
there's 7-point games that are literally one possession with 30 seconds left, and it takes a couple fouls, a couple missed shots. But this was not a 7-point game.
Well, and everybody on the East Coast, and certainly in your neck of the woods, is going to wake up hungover and be like, "Oh wow, that was a close game too. These playoffs have just been great. This game was terrible.
The game was good for the first half.
Yeah,
it really was. It was very competitive.
No, but it was done. This game was done 45 minutes ago.
I'm listening to it was Billis, right? I'm listening to Billis, and he was like, the Warriors haven't made a 3 since like 4:49 left in the second quarter. It was the fourth quarter.
The final tally was, and I always harken back to this, Greg Popovich, El Jefe, as they call him now, when he was lamenting what the NBA has become right now, he's like, just hand me the box score.
Well, we're going to get to the Knicks game. We're going to get to the Knicks game. It did not go like that.
He said, just hand me the box score and I'll tell you what happened in the game. Well, 3-pointers, the Timberwolves doubled them up tonight, and 16 for 34. The T-Wolves shot 47% from 3. Yeah, there was that good mic'd up moment where Steve Kerr was trying to settle his team down.
They can't hit them all. They're hitting them all now, but they're not going to keep hitting them all.
He was like, they're making everything. They're making everything. Surely there's got to be some regression to the mean. Unfortunately, if there was any regression to the mean, it was way too late. Right.
I mean, at that point, yes, it is. This is not a 7-point game. Can we please talk about the Knickerbockers now, please?
121. 113. The New York Knicks are now up 3-1 on the Boston Celtics. When we last spoke about this series, I told you, I said, I think the Knicks just need a split. I don't think they'll lose 3 in a row. That's how I view this stuff. And so they just can't drop both of them at home. Was there ever a moment in this game where you were legitimately scared that they were going to lose a second straight game at home?
A moment? A moment? Game? That's the question? A moment?
Yes.
Most of the game.
Oh, I thought you would be confident that if you got this in a range that, they'd be able to step up, take care of business, MSG crowd, I figured this one was not going to be, you knew this was not going to be a run out.
I think it's appropriate to start this conversation by talking about Jayson Tatum, because obviously if you're listening to this podcast, you know that there's a very concerning injury. We can't report what it is, but like we all know what we think it is, and it looks really bad. And I will say that this game 1 was fluky, weird. Neither team played well. Game 2, same. Game 3, the Celtics played well. Knicks did not. This game was what you want. It was 2 teams firing on all cylinders, playing well on both ends, and it was 2 superstars, Jayson Tatum and Jalen Brunson, absolutely exchanging haymakers in the third quarter, like just haymakers. Tatum played so well. He played so well. And this is what you want out of NBA playoff basketball. This was a great contest. And the contest was pretty much over because OG is getting that ball and dunking it and putting them up 9 regardless. This is not like, oh, Jayson Tatum got hurt. That's why the Knicks won. But this Tatum injury echoes through next season, the Celtics' future, what their apron situation. Like this injury isn't just impactful on this game. It wasn't that impactful on this game, to be honest with you. No. But it's on the future of the Celtics there's a lot of questions to be asked. And I'm not going to say this series is over, but it's very likely the Knicks will win it. But this
because you
injury
also have, like, one of the things that you didn't mention when you were outlining, all the dominoes that could fall because of this is they also have the ownership. And I know that they're saying Whit Grossbeck's still going to keep, have a hand in the team and whatever. But I mean, like, this was a franchise that, depending upon how this all went in the playoffs, was going to be making big decisions one way or another.
Even if they win a championship.
Even if they win. They ran it back for good reason, right?
Yes.
This is a good investment if you get a championship out of this thing. And why not? Why break this thing up when we could run it back and have a chance at another title? And now that it will end more than likely in the second round, now all of a sudden spending $1 bazillion doesn't seem as fun.
Yeah, it's not Last Dance, but it's like the DJ's letting you know that we're gonna end the party soon.
I texted you during the game. Like, so all right. When they were up 11 at halftime, I honestly thought, so I can come from it from a different perspective. I'm just watching the game, and I thought, bro, Derek White has made like everything he's taken.
He was like 5 for 5 or something.
They have shot fireballs. In the first half, Boston shot 50% from 3. Okay? So I'm looking at it going, there will be regression. Like, there will. And they are making everything right now. And they're not out of range. Like, they're shooting fireballs, but they're not out of range. This is still like, the game's still at 11. And then it kind of ballooned up to 14 in that third quarter. And then the run started. And man, oh man. Like, by the end of the third quarter, I absolutely did not think the Knicks were losing that game. I mean, they had flipped the game completely, but that Brunson third quarter was unbelievable.
Well, Tatum's third quarter was unbelievable too. Like that was haymakers.
It was, but God, I hate watching them play basketball. I hate it. It is a different haymaker. There's just a bunch of pull-up threes. Is.
I would say that
just is. It's just pull up three. Here's one pass. Here's another pull up three.
Disagree. In
the first half, terrible version of basketball.
The Celtics had a bunch of swing threes. Like Derek White, those ones he hit were just butt naked swing threes. And I feel like
you're adding a swing. You're adding a swing to make it feel better.
Swing threes.
2 is the limit of passes.
They didn't pass the ball game 1 and game 2. Game 3, they moved the ball more. Game 4, they moved the ball enough, and they had that lead. But it was a game of runs. Even in the first half, it was Celtics up by 10. Knicks cut it to 2. Timeout Missoula. And then the Celtics make another run, and then the Knicks make a run, and they never let the crowd get out of it the way they were in Game 3. I thought the crowd was a factor in this game tonight.
I can name you 10 Knicks shots. I can't name you one Celtics shot that wasn't a 3. That I can remember. Not one. You got Bridges flying across the lane. You got like mid-range step backs that Brunson's hitting. You've got Cat flying down the lane. Like Cat was good too. Like I don't know. It's a different brand of basketball, and the Celtics are one of those teams. It's a lot like those old Rockets teams where it's like, man, when those threes are dropping, it is devastating. And when they're not, it is a tough watch.
Yeah, but I thought Tatum
and
played
they were
so well.
For the first half. They were for the first half.
The conversation tomorrow is going to be Tatum injury,
Oh, he was
impact
awesome.
on Celtics future. But like his performance tonight was just unbelievable.
Well, and they have been completely let down by Jaylen. Completely. Jaylen Brown, I'm saying, not Jalen Brunson.
Of course.
Yeah. They've been completely let down. Every once in a while Jaylen Brown will like drive to the basket. They'll be like, that's the Jaylen Brown that you needed. And it's like
that's a possession.
And then you might not notice him for 5 minutes.
Well,
bizarre.
There is something I want to discuss about the Knicks because I think we're going to be talking about the Knicks for a couple of weeks now. This series is not over. This series is not over. Like, it's very likely the Knicks. Wait, you said it was minus 900? The Celtics were going to win before Game 1, right? Have you checked the odds? Have you checked the odds?
I haven't. I will. Does it have just a picture of? Look. Tatum's like he got carried off. He got carried off the floor.
It was. Okay. We're not allowed because we're responsible to say what happened into microphones right now because it's the middle of the night. But like the way the Knicks were cheering him as he went off the floor, this isn't like when Brunson couldn't get up on a turned ankle. This is an impactful injury that will likely impact his next season.
Updated series price on FanDuel as we're talking about it. Knicks minus 620.
All right, so it was Knicks minus. I mean, it's Celtics minus 900. Interesting.
Yep, at the beginning.
So one thing I want to keep an eye on, because we'll be talking about the Knicks for a while. Karl Anthony Towns. I didn't think that he impacted the game as much as he should have this evening. I don't think they go to him in the post enough. Who on the Celtics is a bad matchup? Who on the Celtics can guard him on the post? Who?
I mean, Porzingis at least has the requisite length.
But he can't.
Right.
Horford can't. Right. Brown can't. They don't go to him enough. And he had 2 10-point games in the Pistons series. He had a 14-point game in this series. And he had 5 assists in game 1 against the Pistons. Like what he averages like 4 or 5 assists a game. And he's had 0 assists, 1 assist, 1 assist, 2 assists, 0 assists, 0 assists, 1 assist. Like he has not been unlocked in these playoffs. And I think that's going to be important if they're going to move on. If they're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, which is very likely, if they're going to be successful in the Eastern Conference Finals, not say win, but even just be successful against likely the Pacers, they're going to need more from Towns.
I mean, he had 23 and 11 tonight.
I'm telling you.
You expecting more than 23 and 11? Because
yes.
then your expectations are a little high, Jacoby.
They don't post him up enough, dude.
They don't. Well, look,
every time they do, it works.
I mean, they have really good balance. Obviously, you had the Brunson 39, and then when you get 23 out of Towns, 23 out of Bridges, and 20 out of OG, and then you've just got Hart just flying around everywhere, doing everything.
Dude. Bridges. I mean,
4 steals too for Bridges.
Bridges weird. I'm gonna put the ball above my head. Is with my 7,000-foot wingspan. He doesn't shoot like everyone else shoots. The ball is above his head before he shoots, and he's kind of like Larry Birdish, kind of. Larry put it behind his head, and that 8-foot to 14-foot range, whether he's coming off the dribble or not, he just hits those. He hits those, and tonight he was fabulous.
I will say one of the things that I thought about as I was watching this tonight, because you and I had the discussion many times, lamenting the fact that our teams showed an inability to beat the best teams over and over again, right, throughout the regular season. But as we know, and we get to playoff basketball, as a playoff team, that is a different evaluation than a regular season team, right? The playoff team, right now, there's no question Oklahoma City was infinitely better than Denver throughout the year.
The regular season.
The question will become, are they a better playoff team? There's no question that the Celtics were better than the Knicks throughout the year. But are they better equipped for playoff basketball? Same thing goes with what's happened with the Cavaliers, right? Cavaliers had 60-something wins this season, but are they better equipped to be a playoff basketball team? Because the game is different, and interestingly enough, those Knicks, they wouldn't show us throughout the year that against the highest level of competition, they didn't show us this, and yet now we have seen their absolute best, and they have been able to keep guys healthy, knock on wood, and they've been able to play as a collective. And I mean, they have been down 14 points or more 3 of these games, and they're up 3-1 in the series.
In the second half. So one thing I don't want to do is it's hard for me to sit here, even as a Knicks fan, and make sweeping statements about the makeup of these two teams in regular season versus postseason, because game 1 and game 2 were just so fluky. Game 1 and game 2 were so fluky. They really were. It wasn't it just felt like ball bounces this way, this shot goes in, this shot doesn't.
I mean,
they
made the plays though. They came through in the clutch.
About the makeup of these teams, because this could easily be a 2-2 series.
You could say that about everything, though, usually, right? You either come up in the clutch or you don't.
I think that's the Jalen Brunson conversation to me. He's earned the Mr. Clutch Award or Clutch Sports Award or whatever we're calling the award. Because, dude, like it's not a coincidence. He's Mariano Brunson is what he is. He's the closer. And it's not a coincidence. We've seen it enough now. And even if you don't watch Knicks basketball all year long, you just watch the playoffs. If it's close, he's going to get the ball and good things are going to happen. It's just that easy. Like, he makes the tough shots in the tough moments. He's made different than the rest of the league. Look at Jokic. Look at Shea. Look at them.
And I will say, none of us, nobody wants to see it happen like this, where Jayson Tatum is laying on the ground at the end. I mean, it just sucks all the air out of it. You know, even if like this was now Knicks going up 3-1, but it's going back to Boston where you expect them to be able to win game 5.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's like now it's going to be tense times, game 6 in the Garden with their season on the line. You know, here's a team that had a championship run last year. And so now you've got to beat them in a game 6 and it's like, in the last couple of minutes of that game, it's like that all got stripped away from us as fans, but it's stripped away from Jayson as a player. And God forbid it is an Achilles, and that's a friggin' year-long injury.
Oh, what's worse than that is he played so
he was
fucking
great.
Well.
He was great.
Dude, he was
great. He was the best player.
I was sitting there watching the game like, how are we supposed to beat this guy?
No,
how do you beat this man in a basketball game? Look at what he's doing. Like,
he was awesome.
He was so good tonight. And we're all going to talk about the threes and the points and what do you have, 42 or whatever. He was getting steals. You couldn't score on him. He was not just the best player in the game. He was it was like one of those
superstar.
Yes. And I thought
he ended 42, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks. He did everything.
I mean, and it was at one point Breen said like Jalen Brunson is unstoppable and Jayson Tatum is unguardable. Yeah. And it was such a great call. Because that third quarter when they were just trading baskets and the Garden was going crazy, like that's the playoff basketball. Like that's why I love the sport. That's why I love the sport. That's why I love the National Basketball Association, those moments. And to have it go this way. Because, again, the game was over. The game was decided. And if the Knicks go on to win the series, this isn't, they won because Jayson Tatum got hurt. But to have it go this way is one of the worst possible results.
It really is. Because I told you at the very beginning of all of this when we were, in the game 3, the OKC-Memphis game 3, when Morant got clipped out of the air and went down, I remember we did that show and I said, I've never been in an arena like that. It wasn't about what just happened as much as it was, what this means.
Was that third quarter? They were up by like 30, right?
Yeah, no,
second quarter.
And it was like, second quarter. It was like, what this means. This is like we're done watching competitive basketball. Like they have no chance without him. Yep. And that's what at the end of that, and I mean, could you have worse timing? I swear we're recording this right now, and it's on this damn Tatum Superman commercial is on every. I know.
So but the thing is like,
could somebody call it in and just take it off for tonight? Like this is not good.
Well, it's tough because it was like it started after game 2 when he wasn't Superman for the first 2 games, and then he was Superman tonight.
I know.
And then he gets hurt, and then he is back on.
Oh,
he
well,
was so good.
And you know what? I've heard since you did your rant, I've heard so many people bring up the Jalen Green commercial and the other commercial.
Because they burn him to death.
You know what hasn't gotten enough attention, and I'm surprised that you haven't brought it up because there I am while watching the Knicks game earlier. They run the damn thing 5 times. The Paul Walker song, It's Been a Long Day.
Yeah.
Except it's Dante DiVincenzo seeing all his old.
But that was pretty good. That was pretty good, though.
Of course it is. Stop. Come on, Paul Walker died.
Well, you know what happened.
Dante DiVincenzo just got traded to the Wolves.
We haven't discussed this on the pod, so it's worth saying. The Pope went to Villanova.
Oh, he did?
The Pope went to Villanova.
The Chicago Pope.
Yes.
The woke Pope? Didn't know what they're calling him.
Is that what he's called?
Yeah,
The woke,
online, I saw it.
The woke went to Villanova. I know nothing about this man, but all I know is because I follow the Knicks accounts. It's like,
well, no, I saw the videos that they found him in the White Sox World Series. He's like in the stands.
Good for him. Well, listen,
Yeah,
the woke is going to
him.
bring it. We got Bridges hitting every mid-range shot in the world. You know what? Let's talk about basketball for a second.
Yep.
I don't like the way the Celtics play basketball either. And do you know what I do like to see?
Long day without you, my friend. Come on.
I don't like the way the Celtics play either. But I'll say this is to watch Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson hit midi after midi after midi, and then to watch the Celtics miss three after three after three. It's like, okay, guys, like maybe there's a different way to play basketball. Maybe there's a different way to play basketball. Maybe I'm gonna fake you.
Not to Joe Maz. There's not. Not to Joe Maz. Boy, they're gonna be on Joe Maz's ass, brother. Woo! Whoa. That honeymoon, that championship honeymoon is over.
It's when you have a personality like his, it can be celebrated when you win, and when you lose, it gets picked apart. And that's right. I'm not criticizing him as a person. I don't know him as a person, but like when you are an outlier, we'll call it. When you're an outlier, when you're winning, it's great. When you're losing, it's questionable. The Mismatch is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are here, and there's no better way to be a part of the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. After another competitive season, the top teams are ready to battle their way through the playoff bracket in hopes of taking home the championship, and it is getting good. And if you think you know how it's going to go down, then make those predictions pay off for you with FanDuel and NBA profit boosts. Simply make your bet, activate your boost, and go for even bigger winnings. Tuesday, May 13th, we have the Cavs trying to stay alive against the Pacers. We don't know if Donovan Mitchell's going to play, but it doesn't look like he is, and things look bad for the Cavs. But I have my eye on the 2-2 series in the Western Conference between the #1 seed, the soon-to-be MVP, Oklahoma City Thunder, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander up against the former champions Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. Some of the things that I have my eye on when I open up the FanDuel app, I see a bounce-back game from J-Dub of the Thunder, and I see Nikola Jokic. There's no way that he has 3 assists again. I think he's going to get more assists. You can go with me, or you can pick your own bets that you like that night. And don't forget, with FanDuel, you get the NBA profit boost. So don't just be a spectator this postseason. Head to FanDuel.com/mismatch to download America's #1 sportsbook and make every moment more. Remember, you must be 21 and over and present in select states, or 18 and over and present DC. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
So you were talking about earlier, I mean, so many different directions here. You have Wolves fans that have got to be euphoric right now. You have Warriors fans that have to be so down right now. You have Knicks fans that are shutting down 7th Avenue, so we know they're euphoric right now. Celtics fans, I mean, you can't be any more down. And then all manner of fan bases were included in the emotional swings prior to these games coming on tonight as the draft lottery was announced. And I have true compassion for fan bases that go through horrendous seasons and then have their hearts ripped out when it comes to the lottery. I've covered many 20-win teams. One year, you could go back many, many years, and I'm going to date myself here. I hosted at a big bar in downtown Memphis. I hosted the draft lottery party. ESPN's in town, the whole thing. It's at the Flying Saucer in downtown Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, hundreds of fans all there, right? The Grizzlies had the worst record in the entire NBA.
And this is before the odds shifted, right? So you're like, still looking at
And this
25% or whatever.
Hey, look, and I'm hosting the thing. I'm not kidding you. And behind the stage where I'm hosting the deal, we have a giant inflatable Greg Oden in a Grizzlies uniform and a giant inflatable Kevin Durant in a Grizzlies uniform. 1 and 2. Okay. And bro, when it popped up 4, which was the worst possible
They
pick
go to
you
break
could get,
before 4, right?
dude, it was the most depressing place. I couldn't even speak. And Eric Hasseltine, who's the radio voice of the Grizzlies, gets up there and he's like, look, still a great building block for this franchise.
Yeah.
Chris Bosh got taken 4th, and people are like, nobody wants Chris Bosh. Who cares?
But if
Dude, it's the
Jazz,
most heart-wrenching thing ever.
the Hornets, the Wizards fans, you're
like, the worst.
This is your Super Bowl.
That's it.
And and the team that traded Luka Doncic is the one that wins.
All right, so let me just I'm split on this. Obviously, that's ridiculous. They had a 1.8% chance, okay? And you can be a hating ass and be super jealous. So let me just say out of the way here. I'm a hating ass and super jealous. P.S. Okay?
I didn't see that coming.
That's true. And look, if you go back in Mismatch history, my thoughts on Cooper Flagg are well documented. When he was 16 years old, I took my son to EYBL, the Nike thing. Everybody had said, you got to see this Cooper Flagg. And I came on the Mismatch. I said, I just saw the best 16-year-old basketball player I've ever seen in my life. The kid had like 14 blocks in the game. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I mean, this guy, whatever hype around him is all 100% legitimate. He is amazing. And so I think he's like franchise altering. But bro, this is where I say I'm hating ass, because you got to hate on Nico Harrison. Like, he shouldn't get this lucky. He shouldn't. For that fan base, I know they've got all those Luka jerseys. They've got all that Luka gear. They just got their hearts ripped out so badly. So for the Mavs fans that have like stuck with the Mavs, for those poor season ticket, people that have to sell these things, people are canceling right and left and chanting fire Nico, and now your phone's going to ring for the first time in 3 months tomorrow. Like, I understand the impact this has on an organization, but I always think about it through the prism of the fans, and I'm happy for Dallas fans. They just got their guy ripped away, but on the other hand, it was their own fucking doing, right? It's not like they didn't like get their guy ripped away from him because he like died in a car wreck. They got their guy ripped away from him because their GM traded it, right? So
this is what do you know what this thought just came to my head. Me and the Podfather Bill have spent some long nights playing blackjack, and I know that you played some blackjack yourself too, right?
Indeed.
And I feel like when they traded Nico, it's like splitting eights. It's like, this is what the book says. You got to do Luka. It. Yeah. Trading Luka. Splitting eights. And then when you split eights, you get another 8. And I feel like they got another 8. It's fair. It's like if you said there's a 3 or 4 year window, you said defense wins championships. This is not like Cooper Flagg is not part of that philosophy. So do you have to like split eights again? Do you now have to trade Cooper Flagg to execute your strategy?
Well, right, because you said they're not. I'm not going to be around in 3 or 4 years anyway.
We got a 3-year window. And Cooper Flagg and Derek Lively are not going to win a championship in the next 3 years. And Kyrie's not coming back next year. So it does feel like there is another decision to make if you're the Mavericks. Do I have to trade one of the best prospects ever because I'm committed to this strategy? You know what I mean about splitting eights, right? Like you got 8s, you split them, you get another 8. You're like, well, I'm committed to this strategy.
I'm almost offended that you're like, you're familiar with this, right? Like, how many times do you think I have walked to the ATM because I didn't have enough to split the last 8?
Yeah, there's some guy at the table like, I'll give it to you. It's like, no, dude, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing
No,
that.
we're not doing IOUs.
Yeah, no. But like, that's what I feel like. I feel like this is kind of like, it's put Nico in a really weird spot because he's like, we're trading Luka Doncic, bringing in AD because we have this large side. I actually kind of like the Mavs roster if everyone's healthy. Obviously, they're not. But like now that you add Cooper to that mix, what timeline are we now? Like the Warriors 2 timeline thing.
It is funny. I saw our buddy Kurt Goldsberry tweet out right after it happened. He's like, Nico Harrison has the chance to do the funniest thing ever and
He
not
might.
Cooper Flagg.
And he might.
Right.
You got to split 8s again.
Just hates conventional wisdom.
I mean, I would say that Victor Wembanyama, whatever you think about him, one of the best prospects we've ever seen. The guy's it's 7'6" and like hits threes, right? But he has not impacted the Spurs health aside in a way that like puts them in contention for a championship.
They will be by next year. They'll be
No.
Yes, they're going to, I'm saying they're going to be dangerous starting next year.
Yes.
With him and Fox and Castle
and
then whoever
Harper,
they add it
they'll
to.
take Harper. They're going to take Harper, right? Consensus is Harper.
Maybe, but I mean, good grief. They may be able to load that up and look, we gotta bring up the Giannis element here. I mean, it just so happened that story, the soft launch of the Giannis trade request, was kind of floated out there. Before the lottery tonight. And it's like, now with the way the lottery played out, you've got people opining. It's like, geez, man, like they might use the first pick. You could see them possibly trying to, they've wanted Giannis and
second pick, third
time.
pick,
second pick. I mean, I know it's wild. Oh, but
I want to talk about the leak of information.
It is just, I mean,
that's ridiculous. And because I was on my phone because I had to pick up my daughters from gymnastics, and I was texting with you guys. So I was just listening on my phone and watching along. So I'm not like on my couch locked in because I was getting ready for the Knicks game, picking up my daughters from gymnastics. And they were like, "Well, Philly lost their pick," and then they're like, "I think it's Nagandi is like, oh, correction, they didn't lose their pick." I'm like, "What?
Correction."
That's like being like the Knicks are up by 10. Oh, correction, they're down by 6. Like that's a big deal.
Well,
dude.
That is the thing from all, and everybody's like, it's rigged. I always love it's rigged. But here's the deal: they come back from that break, and I think collectively, most NBA fans, we were like, that was like, bro, just give him to Charlotte. He just played at Duke. We'll get to hear that Charlotte Wild announcer, Eric Collins, call all his games. He'll be playing with LaMelo and Brandon Miller. That's a fun young team, whatever.
Healthy LaMelo, healthy Miller, healthy Flagg.
Well, because what you are thinking is you're going, all right, they suck, but they're like on that trajectory. Those other 3, none of y'all deserve this. You traded Luka. You already got Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle, and you literally punted the last 30 games of the season just so you could get them to top 6 and not lose your stupid pick to the Thunder. Like, none of y'all deserve this. None of y'all.
Well, you and I have been in this business a long time, and this is like, it's not an accident or a coincidence that this Shams quote unquote report comes out the day of the lottery.
Oh, yeah.
Also, and when you read the thing on the entertainmentsportsnetwork.com, it names the reps of Giannis by name. Yeah. Those names don't get into that article unless the information comes from them. And I can't report that as a fact. It's just we've all been around.
Tell you this, though, you got to be mega excited if you're John Horst and you're thinking like, bro, I might get like the next franchise-altering play. I mean, you know what I mean? It's going to suck to have to lose Giannis, but damn, I might really have a chance of getting like a guy for 8 years.
Some of these packages, and I'm like, that looks good, dude.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Like I could build out a team and maybe have like a franchise player for 8 years.
And I also think this isn't. I'm not a draft expert, but I listen to other people that are. This isn't like the Cooper Flagg or a role player draft.
No.
You know what I mean? Like there's Edgecombe, there's Harper, there's Bailey, there's guys. You know what I mean? There's bigs. I love Queen. You know what I mean? Yep. Like there's bigs, there's 3-and-D guys, there's ball handlers, there's scorers, there's mid-range guys. Like there's players in this draft that can impact your team. And I think that we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on the fact that the Mavericks have the number 1 pick, but the Spurs have number 1 in what? 2, 3, like number 1 in 12 or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude. And look, and we need to mention how bad we feel for Jazz and Wizards fans. I mean, there is nothing worse than going through a season like that where you just this is the only thing you care about.
But like by
the only
week
thing you
3,
care about is tonight, and now it's like, well, that was so not worth it.
The Sixers like shut it down like after New Year's, like around the All-Star break, and they end up with number 3. The Jazz, like I don't know, it wasn't even like Thanksgiving yet, and they're like, yeah, we're punting on the season,
right? Oh, and and here's the other thing. You couldn't even get invested. Like, I'll tell you this. Memphis played them late in the year. They only won because Will Hardy, like, benched Colin Sexton and everybody else in the second half. Mm-hmm. Like, they were going to lose. And then he was like, nope, not letting this happen. Like, Colin Sexton didn't even play in the second half. And I was like, oh, God. If he wouldn't have played Colin Sexton, that'd have been a loss. And it's like, you have to go through a whole season of watching that, and then it's all for the greater good, right? It's for this one chance to be able to get the franchise-altering thing, and when you don't get it, I'm telling you, that was the point of me telling that. We ended up getting Mike Conley, who ended up becoming a guy who's going to have his name in the rafters, and had a great career. It wasn't Kevin Durant. We didn't get Kevin Durant, right? It didn't change your franchise because of who you knew. And honestly, what's crazy is sometimes, as they say, God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. We were heartbroken because we didn't get Greg Oden.
Yeah.
By any measure, Mike Conley had an infinitely better career and meant more to the franchise than Oden.
I loved Greg Oden at that time.
Of course.
Just like I loved James Wiseman for the Warriors. I loved James Wiseman for the Warriors.
And maybe if he wasn't in Portland, maybe it's a different story, and maybe he would have altered a franchise, and maybe he would have. Who knows? But it is crazy the way this stuff plays out. And so I would just say maybe for those franchises, maybe not all hope is lost because you never know. You never know the way this stuff's going to play out.
If you are Giannis Antetokounmpo, you're his best friend. Known him for a long time. He loves
he
loves the Chris Vernon show. He's a big fan of yours. He loves listening to the Mismatch. He's upset that KOC left. He thinks Jacoby's kind of corny. And he's just like, he watches the Chris Vernon show every day at noon, Memphis time. He's just obsessed with you. So you guys have a text relationship for a long time. And he's like, Verno, where should I go? What do you tell him?
Come see me, Giannis. Memphis is
great. No,
you
seriously.
love the lemon pepper wings.
No, that's not even on. That's not even on the table. No, that's not on the table.
Oh, it's not?
Where do you think the best place for him to go is?
Probably to win.
Yeah.
I'd say probably Houston for the package. Houston or Oklahoma City. If I'm taking my fandom completely out of it, like I'm saying, City. You can put together, but I think I can get assets. I have more hope in. Like if you throw me Reed Shepherd and Alperen Şengün, and you could pull a lot of stuff from Houston, right? Again, if it all, we're imagining this all becomes a bidding war between people. But I think I would say, I think I would say probably those two.
Oklahoma City. It's Oklahoma City for me.
Okay, but again, are you coming off players 2 and 3?
Yes.
You would trade Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren for the opportunity.
One of those two and a bunch of picks.
Okay, I just don't know if that's good enough, right? I think you're going to have to get some very high-level players in return and some picks. You know?
I mean, Shea and Giannis. Those I like my duos to be complementary.
They're going to load up. I just watched. I thought Lillard and Giannis were going to be complimentary, and it never
Me too.
took. It never took.
Me too.
It never took. I'm still waiting for the first
It was
alley-oop
like that
between the
offseason
two.
when it was like Dame was like, yeah, we texted a couple times and tried to hang out, but it didn't work out. I was like, ooh, that's a bad sign. Remember that report?
Great. Yeah,
remember that report? Where it was like, yeah, we texted. I was like, oh, you texted? Okay.
Yeah. With the way the lottery shook out, I mean, this now just adds a total other crazy element to the future of the NBA. I mean, truly,
tonight was a huge night in the NBA.
Oh my God! With Nico getting the number 1 pick, and the team that
Tatum
traded
going
Luka
down.
Doncic being able to get Cooper Flagg, and then the number 2 pick going to the Spurs, who already traded for De'Aaron Fox, who already just had the last 2 rookies of the year. The last 2 rookies of the year.
Shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, dude. And they're about to add another guy to that mix.
And they've got, what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. They got 14 too.
Yeah. And then 3rd pick, whoever, Philly is adding into the mix.
Because then you have this like Maxey, McCain, whoever the Edgecombe or Bailey. Like then there's then if you're Philly, you're like, yeah, maybe Embiid and Paul George are kind of like the vets on the team, but the real core is the younger guys. You have a 2-timeline team again.
Odd. It's all
and
crazy
Celtics,
the way it all
what do the Celtics do next year? What do they look like next year? If Tatum's
no idea.
If Tatum's not part of the team, what do they look like?
Yeah, I mean, are you sticking with Drew Holiday and Porzingis and Derek White and Al Horford? I mean, no, I think it all looks different.
I don't know.
Is Jaylen Brown the centerpiece because now it's like, he'll be the centerpiece of that team? Or
yes.
is it?
I think the answer to that question is yes, but but the Holiday, Horford,
the infrastructure around
is interesting to think about because vets have they've got floors on their salaries.
That's
you can't.
right.
They're not gonna take the vet minimum. It's been a huge night, and we're headed for all intents and purposes, a Pacers Knicks Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, so let's just comment on the Pacers real quickly, and then we'll wrap up with Nuggets Thunder. So the Pacers are obviously in total command right now against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is very hard to imagine any kind of scenario where Cleveland is able to win 3 games in a row.
Donovan Mitchell, the Donovan Mitchell injury is...
And the first half of that game 4 was as devastating a half, I think, as I've ever seen offensively. Like, obviously, Cleveland was not there for the fight, but there's one thing to not be there for the fight and quite another for the team to just pummel you relentlessly all the way to where they had already scored 75 points in the half, and then Miles Turner pulls up from like a 35-footer, buries that. The place is a riot. The field house is a riot. And then they get another stop. Nesmith flies down the court and shoots like some fadeaway mid-range shot to make it 80. And the crowd, it was like, you thought people were going to start running on the court like it's friggin' Rucker Park or something. It was like, all right, let's just shut this down. Why even play a second half? Why play a second half?
We've seen blowouts like that and then bounce back games afterwards. But with Mitchell down, and I don't know what the MRI results are. Like, it just doesn't feel like it just doesn't. I think that this is one of those series where you look back at it and you're like, the Cavaliers just weren't healthy. That's what it feels like. That's really what it is.
I think that these teams were much more evenly matched than was given credit at the beginning. And let's just say, they had their guys yesterday, Jacoby. Those guys were there. Who wasn't?
No, I said they had all of them.
Yeah.
They had everybody.
And they got pummeled. They had their guys.
I'm trying to think of I can't think of a half in the playoffs that was
never
more
happened.
dominant? I can't think of one.
It's never happened. I mean, they absolutely maimed them. It was crazy.
Obi Toppin's out here like an all-star.
I joked to my buddies today, and this is going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll do a lot of analysis when we find out their opponent. But whether we assume it's going to be the Knicks or whatever, I will say, you watch them, and especially compared to me watching these Western Conference ones, there's so many of these Western Conference games where even with the Warriors and the Wolves tonight, or certainly with the Nuggets and the Thunder, there's a lot of like walking possessions, as I would say. Light jog. Now we're going to the other end. Your defense is set up. Now I'm running my play. Mm-hmm. Now you got the rebound, and now we're going, and we're going through the motions. We're going to go down to the other end.
Walk up the court, look at the coach. Coach gives a hand signal.
Let's execute.
You tell the guys where to go.
Let's have an execution party, right? And so that's what they're doing. There is none of that with the Pacers. That shit comes off the rim, and it's boom, sprint. And it's like you can see it on the Cavs. Like you could see it on their face. They're like the ball comes off the rim, and Evan Mobley's like, oh, my God, I have to sprint again. Like it's all just flying all the time. Like there's relentless pressure getting the ball up the court. And they come in waves, and they're obviously in no telling. Like Rick Carlisle's probably like the last guy that makes people run at practice, right? Like, but they are trained for that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, man, you can't get into that kind of friggin' foot race with them.
And there's not a lot of just like standing at the top of the key, putting the ball between your legs 5 times. And they or come here, let me get the switch that I want, and then I'll put my ball between my legs 3 times, and then I'll take a pull up with 4 seconds left on the clock. That's not what the Pacers do.
Never.
It's not what
never.
They do.
It's just they are just cruising all the time.
And
it's wild.
One thing that I want to say is I said it before the playoffs because I watched it last year against the Knicks. Halliburton is very up and down, and it's kind of because they're playing so well.
Right.
And he had those big moments at the end of the games. You would think that he's like doing what Anthony Edwards is doing. He is not. Like he had 11 points and 5 assists. Now he only played 27 minutes or whatever, but like he's very up and down. And some days he has it and some days he doesn't. Was that game 3? He had 4 points, right?
Right.
Like that's one thing is I'm looking at the Pacers as a potential opponent for the Knicks. Just keep an eye on Halliburton. He has like on days and off days.
Gotcha.
He does.
So I told you everything was flying up and down, especially on the Pacers' behalf. Game 4 of OKC and the Nuggets might have been the ugliest basketball game I've ever seen. 17-8 at the end of the first quarter for 25 first quarter points. There were more turnovers than field goals. Think about that. There were more turnovers than field goals in the first quarter of the game. The teams were 18% combined, 1 for 25 from 3. The Nuggets, a clean 0 for 14 from 3 in the first quarter. And combined at the end of the game, the worst combined field goal percentage for two teams in the last 21 years, 33.5%. It was a disaster. And I guess it was an overtime game.
That's what everybody says. Like, oh, they played overtime on Friday and the game was early on Sunday.
Yeah, 1:30 game, yeah.
All right. I watch a lot of basketball. I watch a lot of back-to-back games. It's not that bad. They'll score 8 points in a quarter.
It was disgusting.
It was a factor, but it was just like, it was honestly like, it seemed like someone put Xanax in everyone's Gatorade before the game.
Big credit to Oklahoma City. That's the exact kind of games where it's like, hey, this is a nip-tuck game, last 5 minutes. They came through. Nuggets made none of the plays that they had to. They made the plays they needed to. And how much focus there's been on the other guys, right? And it feels like so many times, especially if these are going to be hard fought like this, you set aside the one game where Oklahoma City beat them by 1,000. Like these other games that have been hard fought, but it's like, bro, the ball's getting swung and either like Lou Dort missed all of them And
All
Russell Westbrook missed all of them, and Michael Porter couldn't get anything to fall. And it's like, but Aaron Wiggins did, and Kason Wallace did. And it's like, which of the other guys are going to be able to knock down the shot? Because these teams they've faced each other. They know what they want the other one to do. This has not been some kind of this has been a struggle for Jokic. It has not been like the Shea show for Oklahoma City. And so it's like these teams they're well scouted against each other. And it's like there's going to be these ancillary guys are going to get open shots. And when they make them, then Russell Westbrook helps you win that game. And when he goes 2 for 10, he's shooting friggin' air balls. It's like, these things, that's what this stuff's going to come down to is like, do the Russell Westbrooks and the Lou Dorts of the world make the shot?
It's not always that way, Verno. Think about the game we saw tonight in New York. That was Tatum and Brunson trading shots.
That's right.
That was Tatum and Brunson being stars. I'm the star of my team. You're the star of your team. We're in a close game. We're going to trade blows. But it's Shea and Jokic. They've both been very much marginalized. I think Jokic, you look at 27 and 13, you're like, that's a great game. It was not a great game for Jokic. And
I think to your point, it's because those guys are so responsible for their team's success. Right? Even more
Jokic is as well.
No.
Not so much Shea, but Jokic is everything.
No. I'm saying it's more balanced with the Knicks. I'm saying it's more balanced.
Okay.
It's more balanced with the Knicks, where it's like, bro, if Brunson was out, the Knicks would be a very tough go.
He was out. He was out for like 6 weeks, and it was OG and Bridges.
But they still got a bunch of good players, right? That could like step up and do the stuff where it's like you feel like that those guys make those other guys on their team so much better, right? In a way that is that once you game plan to make their life hell. I mean, because these turnover numbers and the assist numbers being low and the turnover numbers being high for Jokic.
Jokic had 3 assists in the last game.
It's not what you're expecting.
It's
7 or 8 turnovers?
One thing I found so fascinating watching him and the way they're defending him is they kind of figured out that you can't double Jokic because he'll read that and he knows what to do. He's seen it before. So they've got this like soft double. They're like
quadruple him.
But they're like feinting it. It's like there's always someone within arm's distance, but it's not like they're not like blitzing him and getting the ball out of his hands. They're just kind of like around him. It seems like someone is just sort of like got within arm's length of him that's just kind of feinting a double, but not really doubling and not committing to it. It's a really interesting tactic that they've done. Because I've seen them, and I talked about this a few times on the pod, when they like doubled Luka. They're like, go ahead, someone else beat us. But with Jokic, it's more just like, I'm going to feint a double. I'm going to put my arm around you, but I still can get back to the guy if you pass out of it. They're doing this halfway thing, and Hartenstein, to his credit, is holding up enough of it that it's not a double, it's like a 1.5.
You know who does a great job on him too is the other Jalen Williams. Great job. I think I saw a stat today where it's like 17. Jokic has shot like 17% being guarded by him.
Game 2, that blowout game. The other Jay Will, we're calling him, the one who didn't make the stupid commercials where they wear the same clothes. Yeah, is he was really good on him in game 2.
Yeah, and look, that now there's a game 5 that is going on before our next show. I think that's a must win for Oklahoma City.
Disagree.
Must win. They have to win that game. Have to. They have to win that game. With 6 being in Denver, they have to win that game.
So this is like the one series that you and I really don't see eye to eye on.
Yep.
Because I'm looking at the 2 Nuggets wins are a Russell Westbrook kicking it to Aaron Gordon 3, and we're just better than you in overtime. Game 1, game 3. Then the 2 Thunder wins. Well, the game 2 win was a blowout. And I felt like, what was it? Yesterday's win.
You didn't walk away from yesterday being impressed with literally anybody. Come on. That game was sucked.
Down the stretch, the Thunder made the plays they needed to make.
But they really didn't. Just
They made the
Denver
play.
couldn't make a shot. They vomited on themselves again, but Denver couldn't make a shot. You saw it.
They were both
Shea was
covered in
dribbling the
vomit.
ball like in circles, like he's a globetrotter. And he was like, what are they? They're doing this again? Really? They're doing this again?
Well, that overtime game Friday night.
And then it's Russell Westbrook
kept
for
waiting for Shea to
three.
make a
Oh
play.
my God, he killed a photographer. I mean, come on.
I kept waiting for Shea to make a play in that overtime game. That Friday night overtime game. I was like, here he is, MVP.
Yeah.
Just didn't make the plays at all.
I think Denver could win. You don't want to play. You want 6 at home. You need to have a lead going into that. I'm saying if you're Oklahoma City, look, to me, your chance is taking care of home court advantage. You've now even this thing back up. 2 of the next 3 are at home. That's your advantage, right? Play that to your advantage. So that's why I say you've got to win 5. This happened to them last year.
Nothing about this series has shown me that one team
lost
can't
5
win
at
2.
home, and then they went on the road and lost.
Nothing about this series has shown me that one team can't win 2 in a row. I think Game 5, obviously the team that wins Game 5 is going to be in a better spot. Duh. But, I think that either one of these teams could win 6 and 7. I think Jokic is going to respond as well. He didn't look good at all. And I've said it into this microphone multiple times. Keep an eye on Jokic's frustration with the refs, with himself, with his teammates. It's something I've not seen from him before. And this season, he's expressing himself in a different way.
It's going to be amazing, though. Game 5, I am super looking forward to Game 5, especially after we got such a colossal dud in 4. 4 was crap.
It was ridiculous. It was Mother's Day. I was in Central Park watching it on my phone with my headphones, ignoring my family. And I was like, this isn't even worth it. This is a nice day out.
Usually, the team, this will be one that is treated with a very, very high level of urgency by both of those teams. They've both kind of been in weird spots, right? Where Denver won the first one, so now 2's not must win. Mm-hmm. Denver won the third one, so now 4's not must win. Now you get to 5.
Yes. I think it'll be like the Knicks game tonight, where it was like both teams played well. You can't say that about game 1, 2, or 3 in this series. The Knicks game tonight was like, this is playoff basketball. We're hitting
both
shots.
Of the teams
we're
are
executing. We're
yes.
trying our hardest. We're hustling. We're arguing with the refs. We're giving our all to this basketball contest. And I haven't really seen that yet from either team this series, both at once.
They should both be totally focused.
So that's tomorrow, right? So
Wednesday. Or no, Tuesday night.
Yes, then Thursday, Game 6 will be right. We're going to record right after Game 6.
Right after Game 6, and we might have that might be a standalone game, depending on what happens in Pacers-Cavs. It would be Pacers-Cavs Game 6 as well. If there is a Game 6.
But can't you see the Celtics winning Game 5? And just I can see it happening.
Are you telling me Tatum's not going to be there?
Yeah, he won't be there. Celtics win Game 5 without Tatum, and then it just kind of puts a little pressure on.
And then it gets a little nervy.
Yeah, puts a little pressure on.
All right. Last thing before we get out of here. Do you think Michael Jordan's really going to be in studio with NBC?
I'm skeptical.
Or do you think that was an announcement to say, hey, Andy's going to be a special contributor, but it's very unclear what that means. I would love the idea of Michael Jordan analyzing or telling me his thoughts about current basketball. I would love that.
I think that there are people,
and I got excited when I saw it.
I'm excited too. And this can go a couple ways, but there are people that are really good at playing basketball, and there are people that are really good at talking about basketball, and they're not always the same people.
I mean, I watched The Last Dance. I for sure want to hear his opinions on things if he's willing to say that.
He is, because there is this sort of reputation of curmudgeon old head that doesn't love the way things are handled with the new generation. And he is the Michael Jordan of that. And if he unleashes that venom, into a live microphone, I'm excited about it. But
I think it's very, and the other thing is it's very interesting because, the Last Dance got done and then it kind of, we all watched that during COVID.
Of course.
Now it's kind of fade away. And then LeBron became the all-time leading NBA scorer and all this kind of stuff. Like Michael Jordan doesn't need money.
That's the thing I was thinking. I was like, he's not doing it for the money.
I think it's irrelevant. Honestly.
I think Michael Jordan sits around and watches. I think he watches a lot of NBA basketball, and he watches, the Charles Barkleys and the Shaqs of the world, and he sits there and he's like, "Fuck those guys, fuck those guys." Honestly, and he wants to be the best at that too.
And so somebody asked him, like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing it?" He's like, "You know what? Yeah, I would. I would be interested in doing it."
I've had,
and then they were like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." I'm like, nobody's ever asked to be like, "What?" What if we find out that Michael Jordan's like being interviewed? He's like, I would have done this a long time ago. No one's ever asked me to do it. He's done all the car racing stuff, and he had the ownership of the Bobcats for some time.
I'm curious.
I'm excited about it.
If they put him in a position to succeed, I don't think Tom Brady was put in a position to succeed. You know what I mean? They're like, you're going to do games. You're going to be the color guy of games. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a different skill set.
No, they're gonna put him. They're gonna put him with Ahmad Rashad like they did my whole childhood.
No,
right? It's gonna be him and Ahmad just cutting it up. That's what I grew up on. Him and Ahmad just cutting it up.
But also, I think about Magic sometimes too, where it's like I've been around him. I've been lucky enough to been around him in my personal life.
He is for sure hurt his legacy because of media.
But one of the things I want to say about Magic is when you're around him, he's got this for lack of a less trendy term, he's aura. He makes you feel so special. He makes you feel important. When he shakes your hand, he gives you eye contact and he asks you about yourself. And he's just got this thing. He's honestly like a special, special person. When you're around him in the room with him, he is that guy. He lights up the room. He is it's like a demigod. Honestly,
he's magic.
He's like a demigod. He's magic. But when you put him on a TV studio set and you ask him about the first half of the game, all of that just goes away. You know what I mean? And sometimes it just doesn't translate for whatever reason. And that's my concern about Michael Jordan.
I just want to see him talking about basketball.
Oh, you will. I hope it's not taped pieces.
No.
I hope it's not I hope he sits there at the desk just like everybody else and chops up.
He will never just sit there at the desk like everybody else.
I think the one thing that people don't understand is those are long days.
Yeah, he will never do that.
If you're doing one of those inside the NBA days, that's like a 10-hour workday. That's real work.
Yeah.
That's real work. It's not just showing up at 6 and going home at 10. It's you really got to watch the game. You got to do stuff.
Well, we just had one of the most unbelievable nights, maybe in NBA history. We may look back on, Monday, May 12th as a night that truly altered the course of NBA history.
Could
happen.
But the Mavs will never be the same. The Bucks will never be the same. The Celtics will never be the same. I woke up this morning terrified about losing to the Celtics in the second round. And this evening, I was like, I wonder who the Knicks would be better off against in the finals. The Wolves or the Thunder?
You didn't expect that either.
The 76ers got the third pick, dude.
You could have got some serious odds on, well, again, who knows what's going to happen with Thunder Nuggets, but regardless, Wolves versus Thunder or Nuggets and Pacers versus Knicks.
No one would ever bet that.
A bazillion to one.
It was
crazy.
Because you remember those years, and we have to go soon, but you remember those years where it was it's gonna be the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals. You know what I mean? It's like we knew before Halloween it was gonna be Cavs and Warriors in the finals. We all just knew it, and it all played itself out that way, and that's the way it was. It felt like the Eastern Conference Finals were going to be the Celtics and the Cavs.
And now it's whose ankles are sprained, whose Achilles are torn, whose shoulders are hurt. I mean,
when OG went out today, Because he did that last year too.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he tried to play Game 7 against the Pacers?
Yeah.
When he went out, I was
the
like,
hamstring.
I was like, well, there goes that. And
Yep.
then after the game, he was like, oh, it felt weird. I'm back.
Don't do that. Don't scare us like that.
Felt weird? What?
Oh, it's been a fun night for
What a
sure.
night.
And no congrats to the Mavs fans. I mean, look, I'm sorry you got your heart ripped out, but I mean, come on.
Oh, they're
This is a miscarriage of justice.
They have to trade the pick. Split eights. If you're going to split eights, you got to split eights again. Against the face, too. Against the face.
Oh, thank you to our producer, Tucker, for filling in. And Jacoby, I will talk to you later this week.
Must be 21 and over and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and over and present in D.C. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.